Welcome to the League. Welcome to another episode of The League, a DBNC business talk show where bold ideas meet bottom lines and doing business in Nigeria can move from potential to playbook. My name is Uneze, your host. Today we'll be discussing the creative economy's potential, and I do have a special guest in the house, Koya Onagoruwa, the founder of AYKO Agency. Hope I got that right.
Absolutely.
It's like AYKO?
Absolutely. We played on...
AYKO Ile?
Yes, we played on this on the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting.
But the initials are my founding partner, Ayola,
Yes.
which is AY, and I'm Koya AYKO.
Amazing.
So both here, and we're set up in the United Kingdom and soon to be in New York.
Amazing.
The AYKO Agency.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Koya, for accepting to be here today.
Thank you very much for having me. Genuinely, it's a privilege and an honor being here. I followed the brand, as you know, for a long time. You and I have been very good friends for a while. And everything you've done, and especially this year, I believe this year, you've broken the Pan-African barrier. So when I look back over the past few years, it's always been kind of attracting audiences Pan-Africa. 2025, this particular year, when I looked at what you've done, I think this is the year you've gone international. And so for me, it's a privilege and an honor to be asked to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Koya. That's those are kind words, and we do appreciate it. I'm speaking on behalf of the team as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so Koya, you've been in the HR space for almost 30 years now.
Yes.
That's a long time.
It reflects my age, but
Go on.
it reflects my age.
You're my senior, you know.
Yes,
so that's
nearly, yes.
And then
30.
now you are. I mean, that's talent development,
Yes.
diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
You know, and everything human resources,
Employee relations, everything.
employee
at all.
relations,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And then now
Yes.
you're in the creative space.
Yes.
You know, why that transition, and what is the connection between the HR space and then the creative space?
Brilliant. First of all, it was by accident. During the COVID era, my business partner and I were talking. We're both in England, and we were having a discussion about two things. Number one is how could we find something positive in an environment around the world where there was just negativity with the COVID and everything. And number two, we both felt in a privileged environment living in England. How can we give back to Nigeria? That's how it started. We then decided to create an agency that focused on developing talent who have everything it takes, but they're never given the opportunities. And that's how it started. In our first year, our first competition, 2021, one of our rules were that competition entrants had to be from underprivileged or underrepresented parts of society. We didn't want somebody who had connections through family ties or parents or so on. And so the record speaks for itself. If you look at all our winners, they all have backstories of coming from underprivileged, underrepresented backgrounds. Yeah. Second part of your question, the kind of transition from HR, there are similarities when you think about things like mental health awareness, when you think about human capital, human resources, you apply the same science, the same thoughts to whether you're dealing with people in the entertainment industry or people in HR, as you know from your other hat on Morrisanda.
Okay, I can see the connection. I mean, you're still building talent in a way, you know. So just before I move on to the next question, right? Just still on the first question, how do you? Because if I think Koya, I think of a popular phrase, Niger to the world.
Yes.
You say that a lot.
Yes. Yes.
That's something you say a
Yes.
lot, right? So, how are you exposing this talent to global opportunities, local opportunities, and
Yes.
also global opportunities?
Yes, thank you. By the way, Linda's reference to local to global or local to the world is about one of our deciding factors is that we find talents within Nigeria and we showcase them to the world. We literally do that. And to give a couple of examples, one of our winners from 2021 literally came from a very humble and interesting background, full of humility, this individual. And we literally discovered her, we developed her, and we nurtured her to the point where 3 years after winning, having come from a very humble background, she was gracing the catwalk of London Fashion Week.
Amazing.
So that's one example from nurturing a talent, developing them, and showcasing them to the world.
Amazing.
Another example is another talent competition winner of ours, who is now living in London and is in the theatre music scene, and again, accomplished dancer, and now gracing some of the bigger stages of the world in the West End of London.
Amazing. What is that one policy you think that the government can implement to support the creative space?
I should start by saying the government are doing a lot at the moment. The government are doing a lot. Could they do more? Of course they can. But the current Minister for the Creative Industry, the Honourable Anatu Musa Musawi, she's very active in supporting the creative industry around the world. Linda, you know that our music and our film industries are leading the way around the world. Ironically, there's I don't know if it's true, but there's a saying that more people around the world speak Yoruba than any other language, simply because they're repeating the music that they're hearing.
I've heard that as
yes,
well. I've
yes.
heard that as well.
So, but to your exam question, what can the government do? They can do a quick number of things. They can do many things, but two very quickly is to ensure that they support genuine talent from things like copyright theft and advocating them to ensure that there's investment in there, and they can break red tape. For you to apply for anything to do with licensing, for you to import anything to do with your creative industry, for you to create anything, it takes a lot, and there are breaks every way through. So the government can help by getting rid of so many red tapes, and they could support some of the more security around theft of copyright and licensing.
So let's talk about potential, right, of the creative economy. What untapped value do you think that space holds, or what might we be overlooking that you would like to see happen more?
That is a really, really interesting question. I think the two key areas that have been exhausted are films and music. We're doing great there.
Yeah, we're doing amazing.
Amazing.
Nollywood is doing
Afrobeats,
amazing, yeah.
amazing. And it's reaping rewards.
Yes.
But there are other parts of the creative sector that could do with help. An example could be the arts. So we have amazing talent in the arts, and we have amazing talents in photography. We have amazing we have amazing talents in this, but yet we don't recognize them as true creative industry. But these are the creatives, and we know that through the agency because we come across talented individuals day in, day out. People send us their portfolio. People want us to represent them internationally in the UK to sell their art. It's something that we're looking at very, very seriously. So if anybody now, artists out there, please get in touch. But things like games, for example, is another creative sector. The gaming industry is valued worldwide at, I think, about $800 billion in everything. When you think about the creative, Grand Theft Auto, when you think all of those
That's
things,
amazing.
they sell as much. But in Africa, in Nigeria especially, we contribute to a small fraction of that. Yet there are excellent gamers and those who create those environments that you see internationally.
So what can we do to, throw more light on that?
Investment. We need to encourage them more.
Okay.
We need to, just like you have music school and you have acting schools, we need the government to invest more in the science and the AI technology behind such things as gaming.
Behind gamification?
Yes.
Okay.
For art, we need to ensure that people are given platforms to showcase their art excellence nationally and internationally. It's interesting, actually, when you look at some of our galleries and some of they all refer to the past. You will find art which relates to independence in 1960, pre-independence colonial times. But modern art, there are less galleries and less places that you'll find those. But we need the government to help invest because private sector can't do it on its own.
So what is the focus of AYKO?
AYKO, yes.
AYKO, right? Is it just fashion, or do you look at other areas of the creative?
So when we started, we went wide. We looked at also. So our first competition in 2021, our 5 winners came from 5 different categories. We chose one from each. As an excellent entrepreneur, you know that you start to look at the things you do well. You scale down if you need to make sure you focus on those.
Absolutely.
So 22-23, we realized actually, because Ayola, my business partner, is a model. She's graced many international magazines and catwalks with her experience. We focused on models for our second and third year. It worked really well. It did a lot for us. But what we're doing now, we're focused on photography and cinematography. We have a major international brand who is partnering with us. I don't want to mention their name.
I know the
because I don't have their permission at the moment. But they are hugely international. They've been a partner of ours for the last 3 years. And our event this year, if all goes well, will focus on finding excellent young photographers and cinematographers, because this partner is very big in that field. And with them, want to showcase what Nigeria and indeed Pan-Africa has to offer in photography and cinematography. So working in partnership with this huge organization, we are in November, God willing, having a week of workshops, panel conversation, and finding the photographers and cinematographers of the future, using the same concept that we used to find our models to find them as well.
So would this be in Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
Amazing.
In Nigeria. So this partner, I wish I could mention them, are flying in some of their own huge talent who do stuff worldwide. And one of the people flying in, if all goes well, is somebody who Usher, the artist, actually had follow him around the world to record his concerts. So we have the privilege of having that person coming to run workshops for us.
Amazing.
In Nigeria.
So there'll be some exchange of knowledge
100%.
and expertise. It's
100%.
very key.
Yes.
And collaboration as well.
Yes. So anybody, photographers, cinematographers out there, go on. We're not really ready yet, but there's no reason why you can't just start reaching out to AYKOAgency.com.
So is the registration open yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we have an all year round talent platform where you can just register and tell us what you do.
Okay.
And we respond to each person individually.
So what website can people go to? Do you have a website?
Yes.
www.aykoagency.com.
www.aykoagency.com. That's aykoagency.com. but also on Instagram at AYKO Agency. In fact, on every social media platform at AYKO Agency.
Before we started this episode, we're talking about age, I would say, would I call it age barrier sort of, in that space?
Yes.
If you look at Nollywood, the older actors and actresses, I have a lot of respect for them.
Yes.
But I feel like sometimes we talk less about them, and that is not right because they've paved the way for the younger ones.
Yes.
So back to your agency.
Yes.
Are you making registration age specific, or you're just going to embrace talents regardless of age? And when I say age, I mean someone who is even 60.
For sure.
That has a talent to maybe do photography.
For sure. The agency does not discriminate against anybody on the grounds of age. If anything, actually, we have restrictions when you're younger. So, for example, if you're a model, we think if you're less than the age of 21, we're very wary whether to admit you into the agency, just because, for many reasons. Traditionally in Nigeria, we focus on education till at least that age, if not longer. So for us, we don't discriminate on the ground of age. Some of our talents, some of our competition entrants have been 40, 45, 50.
Amazing.
We pick people based on their talent, not on their age. But of course, Linda, when we talk about photography and cinematography, you can pick that talent up at any age. You might be a retired footballer, you might be a retired army major, and you decide, I want to go into photography. We welcome everybody from that point of view. So no,
amazing.
Yes.
It's interesting that your agency is open to, I wouldn't say everyone, the talented ones.
Yes.
Right? So if you're talented and you would like to make your interest known, to the agency, just visit their website and send your application. So let's talk about your career, right? Koya.
Yes.
Your many experiences in human resources and now in the creative space. Could you think of a time in your career where you almost gave up on a particular initiative or business idea? And this is also for the audience and the entrepreneurs who are listening. So what did you do that worked in your favor? Did you have to pivot, or what did you do? What were your steps?
So if I may give two slightly different examples, I'll talk about HR and talk about the agency.
Okay.
Because on both, I've experienced challenges. On both, I've nearly given up. And on both, what's been important to me were those who work with me, who are in business with me. So I'll talk about the agency very shortly, but in my nearly 30 decades in HR, there have been times when I've nearly given up. And especially in our world of HR, when you worry that your advice may have led to the wrong outcome, which then exposes your organization into risk, puts them at risk. Now, to be very clear, I've never given anybody advice, which is for my company, but if you're really thinking about it, every decision you make has an impact on both you and your organization. Whether you're doing org design, whether you're dealing with somebody's employee relations matters, and you fire somebody, but you've done it in the wrong way, it has consequences. But to your question, I worked for organizations where human resources was not the highest impacting department on the agenda. They were always focused on revenue generating parts of the business. And so HR didn't have a seat at the table. I've, on one or two occasions, thought if I am in the right
profession.
I
know that. I know that thought.
Yeah. But one of two things happen. You either batten down, you go for it, you hit the problem head on, you deal with it, and you prove people wrong for you to have a seat at the table, or you do what I nearly did, which is you think, this isn't for me, I'm going to turn my hands on something else. Luckily, I had great mentors and coaches, just like Coach Linda, around me, who literally broke down the challenges for me and rebuilt my confidence in my ability to do my role.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I know we've been having a lot of conversations lately around, just helping business leaders to see
Yes.
the ROI of
Yes.
some of
Yes.
the HR interventions and
Yes.
programs.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
can relate.
Yes.
And I'm
So-
sure a lot of
so-
people can relate
yes.
as well.
So from that point
You
of
know?
view, but I had a lot of good people around me, and pleased to say that I work for an organization now, and I have done for a number of years. It's a very successful organization in the United Kingdom. It's valued at about £13 billion. So it's in the FTSE 100, which is the share index of companies. So we're in the top 100 companies in the UK. And HR has a seat at the table. Now to AYKO. I have a wonderful business partner, Ayola. Hi, Ayola.
Ayola, right?
Ayola,
That's
yes,
her name.
yes. One of the things we complement one another is I'm not always up there. There are times when I look at what we're doing and I'm nearly giving up thinking, we're not getting sponsorship, nobody's returning our calls, and I'm down. But she carries on going. There are times when she's frustrated with things and I carry on going. And the joy of not giving up is having great business partners.
Amazing. It's very important to look for partners who complement.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
strengths, your weaknesses even
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Yes.
You might not be able to do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you have someone
Yeah.
who will be able to step in
Yeah.
when you are stepping down.
Totally. Having a business partner like Ayola is great. And as you can see, I'm not a model. She is. And she, when it comes to the model conversations, all the contracts and everything, because she's lived the process, she knows exactly that. I just do the business bits behind the scenes. That's not to say she doesn't do business, but when it comes to certain parts of what we do as a business, we do entirely.
Yeah.
We
And that's why it's very important to have business partners who, aside from having shared values,
yes,
who can actually complement your strengths and even sometimes your weaknesses.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So hi Ayola.
Yes, Ayola, hi. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so back to what AYKO Agency does.
Yes.
And when you were talking about exporting talent to the world,
Yes.
how are you also partnering with local agencies? And in the case of the models, right, the fashion designers as well here. So how are you also making sure that doing business in Nigeria is within your space, is functioning in AYKO Agency?
That's a very good question. So I'll give you two examples. Last November, we ran a symposium, a creative industry symposium. We did it at the Metropolitan Club in Victoria Island. We invited people from across industry to come. We brought in experts. We flew in experts from the UK as well. So when somebody from the UK came to talk about the importance of digital marketing in today's world, for those of you who, for example, don't have the finances to have your own shops or a lot of money to do marketing campaigns and so on, we flew somebody in who has many years' experience in enhancing brands and branding, but through effective digital marketing. And she's one of our most popular speakers for the day. She also ran workshops which had a record turnout. So we also partner with other businesses. I'm just looking on stage now. We had somebody from the arts there. We had somebody from photography, Koya Ade Onagoruwa, who you may or may not know. Big shout out to Koya. Koya is one of the leading pioneers in photography in Nigeria.
Amazing.
And he gave up his day to talk about the importance of just doing the basics right. And that really went down well. We had the guy, Ayola Arts, who's one of the leading artists in Nigeria. Ayola is a great thinker. He was passing his knowledge and skills to the audience, so Ayola did very well, Ayola Arts. And we had somebody from the fashion and retail industry who blew the audience apart with, again, talking about bringing international brands like Chanel and others to Nigeria to do business. So AYKO curated this symposium. We brought in subject matter experts, and we invited the ordinary Nigerian entrepreneur. We wanted to make sure that those who sat in the audience were those who needed to hear this advice the most. Very successful day, and more information on that on the AYKO Agency website. But it's a very important question you asked there, making sure that everything we do benefits Nigerians.
Absolutely.
That's really what it's about. Because there's no point me sitting in my apartment in London or working in London and trying to say I'm trying to make a difference in Nigeria without ensuring that everything I do benefits and impacts. Yes, we aspire to ensure that people are self-sufficient, support themselves and their loved ones. But you do that by giving them the knowledge, the skills, the approach. You nurture them, you develop them, and you step back, you watch them blossom and grow.
It's a good thing that you're doing, Koya, honestly. We have a lot of talent in Nigeria. I'm not just saying this because it sounds great, but it's the truth. We have a lot of people that are very resilient,
Yes.
hardworking,
Yes.
and with the right resources, advice, sometimes even access to capital, they can actually blossom, and we just need to continue to give people the opportunity to grow like you're doing with the agency. And, once upon a time, we used to buy a lot of foreign-made clothes, but today, a lot of us wear Nigerian-made
100%.
clothes. And the same with Nollywood as well.
Yeah.
Back in the days, the buzz was around Hollywood.
Yes.
No offense to Hollywood. But today, there's a lot of buzz around Nollywood. And the same goes for our music as well. Even, back to what I'm wearing is made here. This is made in Nigeria. This is by another fashion designer as well. And I'm sure
my tailor's just down the road.
That looks very Nigerian as well.
Very, very Nigerian.
So yeah. It's...
And Linda, to your point, the point you made just now, the United Nations estimates that by the year 2050, 25 years' time, Nigeria's population will double from the current 220 to nearly 450 million.
Is that
people.
A good thing? It could be good,
it's a fair point, but more than 50% of those will be under the age of 35.
Okay.
The point is that we are continuing to grow talent. I'm not sure if my fact is correct now, but I think we're going to be the fourth or fifth largest country in the world after China, India, United States, and so on. But my point is that we're growing talent, and it's an opportunity for us to showcase these talents to the world. So for anybody out there who wants to do business in Nigeria, who wants to invest in Nigeria, who wants to grow Nigerians, the time is now.
Absolutely. At the conference last year, one of our speakers said, she said it in pidgin, and I'll just say it exactly how you said it. Now, when you wake up, now your morning begin, that's your, so the point is, if you decide the time is now, it is now. You can do it now. So, don't focus so much about, the times you didn't do it. So it's been interesting talking to you, Koya, honestly. I'd just like to say thank you once again. But before you go, I'd like to ask this question, and I'd ask you, right? If you're in a room filled with overwhelmed entrepreneurs and you have 120 seconds, what would you say to them? Could you look into the camera?
20 seconds.
120 seconds.
120, that's 2 minutes. Firstly, I would say never give up. It's very easy when things are going wrong, when you have no financial support, you have no resources, there's nobody mentoring or coaching or imparting knowledge onto you, or nobody's interested in your brand or your goods, whatever it is, services that you're providing. I would say never give up. That's one. Number two, I'll say always have a plan. Always have a business plan. Don't leave it in there, because leaving it in there could lead to inconsistency. You might forget some of the things. In every business venture I've done, I've always had a business plan, and it's what I share with people. And it helps me articulate very clearly what I'm trying to achieve. Number three is that when it comes to partners that you're working with, trust your gut feel. Your gut feel got you to where you are today. Your gut feel is nearly always right. Always trust your gut feel. There's no science about that, but the truth is, you've grown up hearing a voice in your head that says something. Intuition. Trust your gut feel. Trust your intuition.
Absolutely.
If something doesn't look right, feel right, smell right, just pull that thread a bit more to see why it doesn't. Don't ignore it and think it's okay. And finally, number four, in anything you do is that always evaluate the successes and replicate them. So a lot of things people don't measure how they got to where they were. They just continue to work. And it's unfortunately, this is partly due to just the way we are. You just, the wheels turning all the time. But slow down, stop, measure the impact of what you've done, find out the things that made it successful, and replicate them. You learn from those. You learn from your mistakes. I make mistakes. We make mistakes. I do. When I do, I try and look at how I got there, if there was anything that was good about that. But if there wasn't, then I look at the things I've done well, I focus on those, and I replicate them. So in 2 minutes, in 120 seconds, in the room field, that's what I'll say to them.
That's interesting. Thank you, Koya. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I've learned a lot, today, as I always do whenever I talk to you.
And I learned from you as well.
Yes. And I look forward to having you here again.
Thank you.
Maybe at the conference.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yeah.
You've never invited me. Well, you have.
Koya.
Sorry, you have. You invited me. I've never been. I will come to the next conference.
Awesome. It's on camera.
2026.
We recorded it.
Yes. I will come to the next Doing Business in Nigeria conference.
Awesome. So thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you.
And
as
again,
well.
it's a privilege and an honor to be here. The brand is going places. I want to say that I've been involved in, as a supporter of yours. Like I said at the beginning of this take, over the years, it's been Pan-Africa. I truly believe that 2025 was the beginning of it, going beyond the borders of Africa into other continents, European, the Americas, and so on. So well done.
Koya is so articulate with his words, So thank you for the encouragement. This brings us to the end of today's episode, and it's been a pleasure being your host. My name is Linda Uneze. Thank you.